Good afternoon, everyone, especially to you now. Today, I will discuss about the critical innovation in the future. The critical innovation in the future is a role of a teacher as an evaluator that represents the way of evaluating the curriculum as written, planned, and implemented. There's two ways of looking at curriculum evaluation. First is curriculum program evaluation. We first saw overall aspect of curriculum as a subject, degree program, curriculum reform program, and like. Some examples are the curriculum as a subject degree program, curriculum reform development as a curriculum reform, outcome-based education as a subject, bachelor education as a degree process, mother tongue-based multilingual education as a program. For example of these as K-12, curriculum as reform, adding 2 years in high school, the teacher as evaluator check if it is if it's improved the students' learning, are they ready to work or to college? Program evaluation will be using program evaluation models like Broad-Effective models, objective-centered model, shopping tips, CITP model, and students consumer-oriented model, among others, that will be report to of my co-reporter later. Second evaluation is component of curriculum program. This will cover different evaluation for curriculum components such as achieved learning outcomes, teaching learning process, instructional materials, and assessment of learning outcomes. In components of curriculum program, this is a part of curriculum that we look at one by one to see if they are working well. We check how students learn, what they should learn, and what they used to learn, and how they know they learn. In achieved learning outcomes, these students learn what they were supposed to learn. For example, this, if the books was to solve math problem, can students do that now? And teaching learning process, it is how teachers teach and how students learn in the classroom. Teacher using a group work, games for help students to learn better. And instructional materials, this is tools for using a learning. For example, these books, video, and worksheet. And assessment of learning outcomes demanded is how we check what students have learned. Like quizzes, tests, or performance tasks, it's really showing what students know and can do. Curriculum components of curriculum program components evaluation refers directly to assessment of curriculum contents and process as implemented every day in the field of learning outcomes as either formative or summative. It means if the lesson and teaching methods produced every day in class are helping students learn better. In curriculum content, it is what is being taught. In process is how it being taught. And learning outcomes, it is what students are learning. Learning outcomes are either formative or summative. Informative done during the lesson, and while the summative is done at the end of the topic. For example, a teacher gives a short quizzes to see if the students understand the fraction. At the end of the quarter, they make a big test to check if they mastered the math lesson. The first lesson will teach us how to look into curriculum evaluation. From this sample, which are curriculum program evaluation that I mentioned earlier, it is a role of teacher as an evaluator. And going to the curriculum evaluation is a specific component of curriculum program as instructional materials that I mentioned earlier is how we look at one by one to see if they work really well, like books or modules. Lesson 2, well, curriculum evaluation is a classroom for formative and summative assessment of the active learning outcome. It is how to evaluate learning in the classroom. In formative assessment, we check students' progress during the lesson, like quizzes, activities, and teachers' feedback. Like in summative assessment is to measure what students have learned at the end of like exams or project. So, according to Orstein and Hanskin, curriculum evaluation is a process that in order to gather data that enables to decide whether to expect, try, change, elevate, eliminate the whole curriculum of a textbook. So, according to Orstein, curriculum evaluation is used to gather information so we can decide whether to keep, change, or remove a curriculum or a textbook. Simple meaning of this, we collect data to see if the curriculum is good or not. Even if the curriculum we decide what to do and fix or replace it. In Mark J. 1977, evaluation answered two questions. Plan learning opportunities programs, courses, and activities as developed and organized actually to produce desired result. How can curriculum best to improve? Evaluation answer to simple meaning of this is we check if the students are learning what they should and what they think about how to improve the lessons or program. And according to in 1985, evaluation is to identify the weaknesses and strengths as well as a problem encountered in the implementation. To improve curriculum development process, it is to determine the effectiveness of all and the return of allocated finances. We get this is the information so we can even judge or can improve the curriculum and even remove it or even it. We get this full information to decide if we should fix or change or stop using the curriculum. In Olivia, it is a process of delineating, updating, and providing useful information for judging alternative purposes or modifying. In curriculum, we decided that we should, the program is change or fix the curriculum if it is useful. So that's conclude my.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Isabel Mo, and my topic is about Tyler Object-Centered Learning. So, curriculum elements. So, curriculum elements outlines the components of the educational pillar that we evaluated. So, the first one of curriculum elements is objectives, intended learning outcomes, and number 2, situation or context, number 3, evaluation of instructional tools, number 4, utilization of tools, number 5, analysis of results, and 6, utilization of results. So, these are evaluation process. So, number 1, predetermine intended learning outcomes or objectives. Number 2, identify the situation, context that gives opportunity to develop indicators or achieve objectives. So number 3, select, modify, and construct evaluation instruments or tools. Check its objectivity, reliability, and validity. Number 4, utilize the tools to obtain results. Number 5, compare the results obtained from several instruments before and after to determine the change. Number 5, then, analyze the results obtained to determine strengths and weaknesses. Identify possible explanation about the reasons for the particular pattern. Number 6, use the results to make the necessary modifications. So, evaluation process This details steps to assess whether the objectives are being met. So these 6 steps, 7 rather, the curriculum element ensuring that each component is evaluated against the established objectives. Move to our next topic, which is linear capabilities, context, input, process, product, data. So there are 4 stages of program operation. First, context evaluations assesses needs and problems in context for decision makers to determine the goals and objectives of the program or curriculum. So, Stubble views CIPE model. This model takes a more holistic approach considering context, input, process, and product. Meaning, it is designed to be more flexible and responsive to changing needs. So, Tyler's model is suitable for straightforward programs, clearly defined objectives. So number 3, process evaluation monitors the processes both to ensure that needs are actually being implemented and make sure necessary modifications. So, 4, product evaluation compares actual ends with intended ends and leads to a series of deciding decisions. So, Beam's model is better suited for complex programs requiring a more holistic and adaptable evaluation approach. So, these are the stages of CIPE model. So, first one is context evaluation, second, input evaluation, 3, process evaluation, and 4, product evaluation. So, Tyler's model is linear. It is a simpler, more straightforward approach suitable for programs with clearly defined objectives and limited resources. Steps in all the stages. Step 1 is identify the kind of decision to be made. Step 2, identify the kinds of data to make that decision. Step 3, collect the data needed. And step 4, establish the criteria to determine quality of data. And step 5, analyze data based on the criteria. And lastly, the step 6, organize needed information needed for decision making.
Good afternoon, everyone. Especially to everyone. My topic is all about state responsive model. So, state responsive model is oriented for direction to progress and activity or program activities. The program itself, the evaluation process is more on activities rather than orders. So then, the state responsive model is instead of looking for the final result of the program, the state responsive model is focuses on activity or the process or the feature of the program. And then, Robert State 1975 recommends the following step on the curriculum evaluation. So, let's move on to the next slide. The curriculum evaluator is followed the step below. So, step 1, meet with stakeholders to identify their perspectives and intentions regarding the curriculum evaluation. So, first, we will make the stakeholder to understand what they intentions or what they think or what they are understand about the curriculum goals. And for step 2, draw from step 1 documents that will remain as proof of the commission. So based on the information that we gathered in step 1, we can decide exactly which of the aspect of the curriculum will be evaluated. And for this step, we observe the curriculum closely and identify the unintended sense of the implementation and the which falls amongst intents. We need to observe the curriculum closely to identify
unexpected difficulties or misunderstanding about the curriculum. And next, for the step 4, identifies the stated real purpose of the programs and the purpose of the business. So, for the step 4, we need to understand the real purpose of the program or the meaning of the thing so that we can provide clear directions for the evaluation. And next, for the step 5, identifies the problems of the curriculum evaluations and plans and identifies the domain size of the data. So after we identify the problem or the challenges that we are facing while we are evaluating the curriculum, so we need to use or to choose the best way to evaluate the curriculum by using data needed to do best or to do effectively. And for the number 8 or number 6 is the main needs to collect data. So this is involved questionnaires, interview, classroom observations, documents analysis, etc. And then after that, for the step 7, implement the collections procedure. And for the step 8, organize the information into tools. So we need to analyze and make sense of data collection to make it easier to understand. And for the last, step 9, decide with stakeholders the most appropriate format for the report. Then let's move on to our next topic, which is Scriven's consumers-oriented evaluation. So, Myers Scriven in 1967 introduced the small thinking others when education product included in the market. So, consumers of educational products which are needed to support implemented curriculum often use consumer-oriented evaluation. These products are used in the school to acquire and require a quality decision. These products include textbooks, videos, educational technology like software and other instructional materials. Even the teachers and school themselves nowadays try to introduce these materials for their own purpose. So, dahil sa dami ng ng mga educational materials like textbook, modules, etc. So, we need to, or it's important to evaluate them if that materials are truly beneficial and effective to the student for their learning. Not only the companies selling these products are different kinds of evaluation, kinds of evaluation. Pati na rin yung school teachers ay gumagamit na rin dahil ang customers-oriented evaluation is examine the value of the educational products. And that's all. Wait, I have to show you something. The examples of instructional materials in the report.
Good day everyone, I am Casey Iscabas and this is the continuation of our report. This is the criteria on using the following codes to rate the materials. The plus sign means yes or good quality. The zero sign means alright but not good of quality. The negative sign means no or poor quality and the NA or not available means not applicable. And this is the criteria of it. Next is the simple way the curriculum evaluation process. For a very simple and practical way of curriculum evaluation, responding to the following questions will provide an evaluation data for curriculum decision. Just ask the following question and any no answers to an item will indicate a need for a serious curriculum evaluation process. And these are the questions in it. And the next one is, in summary, whatever models of curriculum evaluation to be used, and ASCE 1983 suggested the following steps. The first step is identify primary audience. Identify primary audience means figuring out who will use the results of the curriculum evaluation the most, such as teachers, schools, leaders, or education officials. Now, what to consider is the curriculum programs, sponsor managers, and administrators, school heads, participants, teachers and students, content specialists, and other stakeholders. This helps focus the evaluation to meet their needs and present findings in mutual way. The second one is identifying critical issues. Means finding the main problems or important question related to the curriculum that need to be examined. One to consider is the outcomes or expected, desired, intended, process, implementation, resource, or input. This helps evaluation focus on what matters most, such as students, learning gaps, teacher methods, or curriculum content. Identifying data source. The one to consider are the people, teachers, students, parents, curriculum developers, existing documents, available records, evaluation status. It is to identify and choose where to get the information needed for the curriculum evaluation. This ensures that evaluation is based on accurate and relevant evidence. The next one is identifying techniques for collecting data. It means deciding how to gather information for the evaluation, such as the standardized tests, informal tests, samples of students' work, interviews, participants' observation, checklists, and anecdotal records. This helps make sure the data is collected in a clear, organized, and reliable way. Next is identifying established standards and criteria. Identifying needs and standards and criteria means selecting the rules or benchmark used to judge the quality of curriculum, such as the standards previously set by agency, DepEd, CHED, and professional organization. This helps ensure that evaluation is fair, consistent, and based on their expectations. The next one is identifying techniques in data analysis. It means choosing the methods to examine and interpret the collected information such as the content analysis, process analysis, statistics, comparison, and evaluation process. This helps turn raw data into useful insights for improving the curriculum. Next is preparing evaluation report. It means that planning how the finding of the evaluation will be organized and shaped in a written document such as written oral, progress, final, summary, descriptive, graphing, evaluative, and judgmental. These are the list of the documentations. This report helps us communicate the results, conclusions, and recommendations clearly to the primary audience. The last one is preparing modes of display. It is the means selecting the best ways to present the evaluation results, like the case studies, text score summaries, use multimedia representations, product display or exhibits, and technical reports. This helps findings clearer and more accessible for intended audience. That concludes my report.